Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be following a makeup tutorial by Katie Jane Hughes. I saw her post a video using the Nabla Cutie Midnights palette, which is currently in my Shop My Stash right now, and I'm trying to get more usage out of it for my No Palette Left Behind challenge, so I thought this would be a really fun video. I think the look is really pretty, and I love Katie Jane Hughes and kind of her makeup style, so we're just gonna get into it. If you're new here, hi, my name is Vivian. I'm a robotics engineer with a love for all things beauty and makeup related, and I'd love it if you liked and subscribed if you aren't already, and let's just hop into it. She already has her skincare on. She used the Rhode Skin Milk, which I do not have. So we're just kind of gonna start getting into the makeup.
I'm going in with a little bit of eyeshadow primer from Hindash. This is like a nude eyeshadow primer. I'm doing this because I'm using a baby blue eyeshadow and it's going to give me amazing payoff.
So I don't have the Hindash eyeshadow primer. I have this one from Milani though, which is also just kind of like a nude. The way she applies it with the brush. So I squirted a little bit out. I'm using the back of my hand as a palette kind of, and I'm just gonna start swiping this onto my eyes. I really don't wear eyeshadow primer that often. I am lucky if I even put on concealer on my eyes, and I also just don't wear eyeshadow that often. So I trust Katie Jane Hughes, so we're gonna do it.
I'm gonna go straight in to this. I don't know whether you can still get this anymore. Hope you can. It's the Cutie palette from Nabla in the shade Midnight. I'm going to go for a dry brush now, and I'm actually going to go for a small little stubby brush first so that I can push in this navy color from the palette into the lash line just at the outer corners.
Okay, so it kind of looks like she's using one of her Spectrum and Katie Jane Hughes brushes. This is the number 18 brush, and she goes in with the navy color and she starts pushing it in to her like shadow line or like lash line.
But very much deep into that lash. Really sort of wiggle it into the lashes. Okay. And then I'm going to take the same brush and I'm going to pick up the lighter blue next door. And I'm going to sort of go over the top to start lightening that a little.
I think my placement is a little bit high, but we're going to keep going. She says that she goes in with this other shade now, the shade Air, which is a lighter kind of like sky blue color, and then she starts just kind of building on top of that.
And sort of giving that a bit of a blend. So by going over the top, it's lifting the color and it's blending the color. However, before I sort of commit to where I'm going to go next, I'm going to take a fluffy brush. Look at this type of shape, fluffy but pinched, and just blend that into that primer.
She then takes a fluffy but pinched brush. This might be a little bit too pinched, but I think it's the only clean brush I have right now, so we're just gonna go with it anyway. And then she kind of just starts sweeping this in to blend that out a little bit so it's not as harsh. And then she takes the same brush and goes in with some more of this blue and then starts patting it all over her eyelids.
Just to sort of get a little bit of the powder into the mix, and then I'm picking up more of that baby blue shade and I'm going to go right over the top of the lid.
Okay, so she takes a little bit of this and a little bit of that to make a mid-tone, and then starts putting this kind of in the outer corner area, and then she kind of does the same thing on the other side, so a little bit of this color and a little bit of that color.
I'm going to make a little bit of a custom color here. I'm going to just take a little of this and a little of that and just go in at the outer corner to create a mid-tone between those two. I'm doing the same thing on the other side. 2 taps in the darker blue, 2 taps in the lighter blue, and then doing the same pressure and motion so that I get similar effect around the eye. Just make sure if ever you're cocktailing 2 shades together, you're sort of trying to pick up the same ratio of each shade on the brush. And then when you blend them into the eye, they will become one.
She also does the same thing with the mixing colors and then goes underneath her eyes.
Taking a little bit more of that baby blue now under the eye. Neat. A little bit of the darker blues in the brush, so it's going to sort of work in there to sort of give it a bit of a something.
And then she takes a little bit more of the blue shade on that pencil brush she used earlier, which still has some of that darker blue, and starts kind of going underneath the eye. And she said that since this brush already has some darker blue on there, it still kind of give that like mid-tone, like the combination of the two. This is definitely giving me something. I'm gonna trust the process, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't really love this look on me. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of this, but I also just don't play with color a lot, so maybe this is just my own thing.
And then I'm gonna take this shade, which is kind of like a white blue frost, and pop it right through the center.
Okay, so then she takes this shade here, Alva, which looks white, but the shift is definitely more blue, and she puts it right in the center, but she uses her finger, which is typically what I would use too. And then she takes the fluffy brush again and then just blends out the edges just to make sure that everything is cohesive.
I've already got on a bit of Tower 28. I mean, I always like to layer two separate mascaras. I found that they stick to each other better than the same later on throughout the day.
I kind of do two mascaras already just because I usually put on my lash primer, and even though that's clear, it does kind of act as like a mascara. It does thicken my lashes quite a bit. I don't have the Lancome Lash Idol right now. I did used to, and I did really like that mascara. I can't go in with that, but I can go in with the Tower 28 mascara. I'm gonna go in with my Pamela Essence mascara base first. And then go in with the Tower 28 mascara. And then for her bottom lashes, I've never seen this done before, but this is how she does it. She takes the very tip of the mascara wand and then just kind of like, I don't know, like flicks it on her bottom lashes to give them more volume. I'm not sure if I love that look on me just because my lashes, or at least my bottom lashes, are very thin anyway. I don't have a ton of bottom lashes, so I feel like this makes it kind of just look like I have like really clumpy lashes and way less. So we're gonna wait for the mascara to dry and then we're gonna try and flick off a lot of that. Like all of the stuff that I got underneath my eyes and a little bit on my lid as well.
I did eyes first because if you get fallout of eyeshadow on your foundation that you've perfectly prepped, that's really annoying. So to just sort of do your eyes first is a good technique to just not have to go back and fix things. This is M Cosmetics Terra.
Okay, so she goes in with Terra, which I have right here, and I think she's using the number 8 brush from her Spectrum and Katie Jane Hughes collection, and she just kind of like swipes onto the stick and then starts buffing it, and she buffs kind of downwards.
Shade Terra of the So Soft product. It's a contour stick. I love these. They're very soft and creamy. I had a pink one, but it got broken.
I do think I like that method of applying contour just because the M Cosmetics sticks are pretty pigmented, and this just kind of gives you a little bit more control and a little bit less pigment so you can build it up rather than try and take it away. She also does a little bit underneath her chin. That same method of picking it up on the brush first, and then she just kind of does this.
Putting that on the jawline, and actually what I'm going to do is take an eyeshadow brush with a little of this, and I'm going to bring it in here to contour just a little bit.
I'm learning so many new methods today. Okay, so she takes another eyeshadow brush. Let's do this one. It's the Spectrum and Katie Jane Hughes number 11 brush. Oh, I think she's using a more fluffy brush. Actually, no, I think it's flat. I can't really tell. Anyway, so she takes a little bit more, and then she does kind of like in this area to give it kind of a little bit more of like an editorial look.
And then I'm going to do some concealer. we're gonna go for Dior.
She's using the Dior Backstage Concealer, I believe. I have mine in the shade 3W, but I'm pretty sure they reformulated these a little bit ago, so I'm not sure if the shade 3W is still the same shade. She kind of does dots like all along her chin.
Pretty much always have the products laid out in front of me that I am about to use, so I kind of pre-plan what the products are.
She does two little things under her eyes, just a little bit there and a little bit there, and then she does a tiny bit. That was not a tiny bit. I don't know why I did that. She does a little bit on her forehead as well.
I'm gonna use this big number 7 from It Cosmetics.
She uses a double-ended brush from It Cosmetics, the number 7 brush, which I don't have, but I do have this one from e.l.f. and it looks pretty similar. So we're gonna try this one and just start kind of tapping it out like she does.
N for neutral. And then just blending it in until it blends in, if you know what I mean. Being careful around the eyes so that I don't sort of damage the makeup that I've done. But actually the concealer now around the eye is going to refine the eyeshadow even more.
Okay, so then she flips it around for her under eyes and is a little bit more precise with it, and then she says that using the concealer you can kind of clean it up a little bit, which refines the eye look, which I definitely agree with. I do this quite a bit when I actually do have like a fun eyeshadow look. She also goes around her nose a little bit. She goes back to the big side just to even everything out again.
A little bit of the cheek where I'm naturally pink because of just these fires in Canada that are in New York have either irritated my skin or I've irritated my skin with something that I've used and I don't know what it is. So it's really important if you're trying a lot of new products to just try one product at a time, not like 7, because then you don't know what it is that's giving you a reaction or a bit of a sensitivity. So just a little bit of advice. But I love to apply concealer or foundation just sparingly like this as far as placement goes. And then sort of blending it into a bigger area. With what's left on this brush, we'll go kind of around the mouth to prep for lip product. Do a touch of, I always take my lip balm off with the back of my hand like that. A little bit of the Pat McGrath Divine Rose shades of the blush stick. I'm going to use just my number 2 KJH brush.
She takes off her lip balm on the back of her hand, which I do very, very often. And she's using a blush from Pat McGrath that I don't have, but it kind of just looks like a more rosy pink shade. So I'm going to go in with this one instead. This is from Rose Inc. This is the lip and cheek color in the shade Ophelia. And she just kind of stipples it on. And she said that she doesn't want like a ton of blush because she wants the focus to be on the eyes. It looks like she tends to put blush mainly on the apple of her cheeks. For me, when I do just the apple, I feel like my face looks more rounded. So I try to do like the whole cheek and try and make it look a little bit more lifted. And then she applies a little bit with a brush on her lips. I'm just going to use my fingers.
On the lip. Use a brush I just want to know how they apply with the brush versus my fingertip. They're very sheer, but they build, so that's nice.
Okay, and it looks like she starts lining her lip with something more of like a brownie shade, so I'm going to go in with this one from NYX. This is the NYX Sandstorm lip liner.
I'm going to do freckles first.
She then goes in with a freckle pen to bring back her natural freckles, which I'm going to do the same. I don't know exactly what product she's using, but I'm just going to use my Freck Noir. Oops. So I have those freckles, and then just kind of tap them out.
One there, and one there. Just re-enhancing the freckles that I've got. And Space Cowboy from Urban Decay. My absolute favorite glistening eyeshadow that's like colorless, essentially. Looks like that.
And then she takes a little bit of Urban Decay Space Cowboy, which I don't have, but I have the ColourPop dupe for it in the shade Ritz. So she takes a little bit of this and then just pats it on the top of her lids. So I'm gonna do the same.
And it gives like a little bit of a beige hue to things sometimes, but it won't really tweak this too much because it's very, very sheer colour pale. I feel like I will just do a touch of powder though. This is very easy. It took 12 minutes to create this whole look. Isn't that wild? Like, you can do it too. Like, I say that to humble you and hopefully make you feel like you can do the things that I know. I do this for my job and I know where everything's supposed to go, but you know your face quite well probably too because you do your makeup.
I don't know what powder she's using, but it seems like a pressed one just based on her like hand motions. So I'm gonna go in with something pretty lightweight. I'm gonna go in with my Kosas Cloud Set. I think she goes in with a brush similar to her #2 brush from her Spectrum collection, and she just kind of goes around her T-zone. She already did her brows at the beginning of the video and I haven't done that yet, so I am going to hop off camera, clean up my mascara, do my brows, and I will be right back for the final look. Brows are done, but I don't know how I feel about this look. I feel like it's not very me. I kind of feel like the little girl meme with the makeup. You guys know what I mean. You guys know what I mean. But I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of how this is looking. And I don't know if it's just like I'm tan and the colors don't really suit well with my skin tone. I don't really like this color of pink on my lips. I feel like they kind of make me look dead. Yeah, overall not a huge fan. I usually love Katie Jane Hughes's looks and I think this look is stunning on her. But for some reason on me, I just don't like it. I've definitely learned a lot of techniques though. I feel like there are a lot of techniques here that I will continue to use, especially just little things like picking up the M Cosmetics So Soft Stick with a brush instead of drawing it directly on your face because it is quite pigmented and this way you get a lot more control. I like drawing in my freckles again after doing foundation. I've done that before, but I started getting a freckle here and I think this one is cute, but I can also see why it'd be a little bit weird. I especially like the minimal amount of foundation she uses though. My skin lately has been pretty good and so I feel like I don't need a full foundation, and just kind of pinpointing it to specific like perimeter areas of my face makes me feel like it's not super heavy. So I definitely learned a lot, especially the mascara thing. I don't think I would do that again just for my particular preferences. I think they look a little bit like spidery, which isn't my preferred look. I really want them to look more fluttery than anything else. But overall, I really like this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe if you aren't already. I definitely want to try a different Katie Jane Hughes look though. I know she used to do KJH Academy over on her Instagram, which I haven't seen her do in a while, but I definitely want to try a different KJH look. I think that'd be super fun. That's pretty much it for this one though. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe if you aren't already, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.